Welcome to the Stretched Thin podcast,
where we share our experience and some encouragement as two men trying, not thriving, in the 21st century. I'm Shannon, a pastor, coffee shop owner, and author.
And I'm Joel, a former pastor, now tech professional and author. All right, Shannon, let's do it.
Let's go.
I am currently on a walking pad right now because I've been sick like this week. So I took yesterday off. I'm taking today off, but I still need to get my steps in. I still feel like I need to get my steps. So I'm on this walking pad, which is really funny. Have you ever seen a walking pad?
No, I haven't.
Someone asked me what the difference is between that and a treadmill, and I said they're very small. And to which that guy, who's just as tall as me, if not taller, was like, "That? How do you even do that?" I said, "You have you walk like an old person. You take very short steps, and you look like that. All you need to have is your arms behind your back, and you look like an old guy, kind of inspecting a downtown area. Like, all right, these buildings look nice and old. Yes,
you're shuffling.
Yes, I'm just. Oh, I remember when they built that. That was back when Margie and I used to be in teenagers." Anyway, sorry.
So what's your step goal? What do you try to get for your step goal? Do you have a step goal?
When I was actually counting consistently, I think it was at least 10,000 a day. And I'd get a good bit. I probably already have a good bit from this morning because I coached CrossFit for the 5:30 and 6:30. So I'm walking around a lot and I'm standing the whole time. But I don't know. Here, let me turn this off. Let me stop moving, and I'll see where my steps are right now. We shall see.
Yeah, so I shoot for 10,000. My bare minimum is 8,000. Like if I'm going to bed with less than 8,000, then I feel like, why have I even started walking today? And so the good news is it is the afternoon, and I'm at 81.56.
There you go. I'm at 7,700 right now.
Okay. So, well, if you're walking while we're doing this podcast, you may just hit it.
No, but now I'm getting a little hot. I don't want to start sweating while I'm working on this podcast.
Yeah, that'd be bad. That'd be bad first impressions for people.
Yeah, that's true. Well, hey, welcome everyone to the Stretch Them podcast. As Shannon said, we're just a couple of guys who are also dads. Shout out Big Bad Dad shirt from Hubs and Hers. Coupon code / discount code coming your way soon. We just got to work that out with them. You should go get some cool dad shirts. They're fun. I have a couple of them. But yeah, we're just a couple of dudes trying to live well in the 21st century. And some weeks are great. Some weeks are blech. Some days are great. Some days are blech. And I know how we kind of start this as we go. What was your good? What was your bad from this week? I feel like you've got ample things to say for like bad, not in a bad, just you've had it's been a hard week. You've told me you feel so stretched thin coming into this podcast today.
Wah, wah, wah.
You're such a sad boy. Keep going.
No, I told you earlier this morning. I was like, I think I need a podcast to listen to of a couple of guys that are just, trying, not thriving in 2026. And I feel like that the fact that we've decided to set voyage on this journey into the podcast world with Stretch Thin is like, and how, like.
I haven't heard that since I was in college. You said and how? Yes. Oh my gosh.
Can I borrow more? Like,
yes.
If this speaking about Stretch Thin has made life feel more stretched thin, then I want to start right now talking about $5 million. Like, let's do a podcast called $5 million.
Where we get $5 million because we started talking about $5 million?
Yeah, I mean, if that's what's happening here, because it feels like it's what's happening. No,
or is it like when you get a car and then the second you get that car, that's all the car you notice on the road?
Everybody has the same car, and you were like, I thought I was an individual.
Yeah.
Sorry, and it turns out that everyone has a Honda Odyssey.
Or a Jeep Wrangler.
Or a Jeep Wrangler, which is, yeah, I mean, and they're all like over 50 now, or Yeah. Anyhow,
You're just digging it. All right.
we're stereotyping. I mean, so no, you know what? The week has been a good week. It's been in a lot of ways, but I have found myself just like living with very little margin between meetings and things that have had to be done, and like, and some stuff is just not. It's not anything that you can help. I mean, you're running a business, and so you've got staffing issues, you've got payroll issues, you've got like just all of the things, and then and so trying to trying to manage to own. I've got a great team, great managers, great team, but just we're really trying to make 2026 just um a better year with regard to systems. So you begin to look at systems that aren't all that great, and you're like, oh, that needs to be fixed, and that needs to be fixed, and so then you feel like, wow. Pair that with we pastoring a church, and there's sermon prep in the week that you're trying to like get in your quiet place and listen and hear, and but at the same time you're like, ah, crap, I need to send that text, or I need to do this. And then we have a nonprofit that we're launching in a building that we're renovating, and great stuff that's happening there, great conversations. But so like yesterday we had a board meeting, and I mean I was literally on the phone from 1 o'clock
Mm.
straight through until 5:55 with two separate phone calls, and then I had a small break to eat dinner with my family, and then I had to go into a board meeting. And so it's just been a week of just like, golly, I don't have margin this week. Like I know I want to. So I'm learning.
Just it's just how you ended that. You're just like, well, there it is. Uh, well, here's the question. I know you said this because you and I we talk back and forth all day. Shout out to Marco Polo, great app. But um, one thing you said was you feel like you're still trying to learn how to say no. Now, w- I know, I know everyone says they can learn how to do that, but when you look at your week, though, the week that you've had, right, where you feel like some of it's out of your control. So why did you go though to I gotta learn how to say no better? Like, where did that come from when you're saying a lot of this stuff is just out of your control, it's just how it is?
I think for me, I feel like that I've done this. Like I am the master of my own demise in a sense. Like I make the choices. I set. I mean, my wife, man, if she was sitting in this conversation, she would just like she'd be all like, yeah, and because the standing joke in my house is I am the person of one more thing, and she's like, you are always trying to get just one more thing of, and she's so right. Like, man, if I'm leaving the house, like I'm like leaving the house and I've got my bag and I've got my water bottle, and then oh, I need to go. Well, I've got to go get my sunglasses, or oh, I got to take this book to give to someone, and there's so many times that like they're in the car and they're just like one more thing. And then
Oh
I think
no.
that's really how I feel I live my life. So I feel like I am the root cause of my own issues. So
I get that though, because my wife will often say, why do you apologize? Like, why do you keep apologizing? Because I'll say sorry for no reason. I'll say it will be like it would be something along the lines of, oh yeah, like if so, how we do bedtime, this nighttime, right? So we have a 1.5 year old, a 7 year old, and a 6 year old. Obviously, Shannon does not have those kids. They're at
obviously,
that age anymore. But now, what I've done, which is this is something I did not know was pretty foreign to most people, was my wife and I will kind of alternate nights, or we'll pick a night. So it will, let's say if I'm coaching, like I did this morning, so on a Thursday night going into Friday, Joanna, my wife, will be the one that if Ed wakes up, she gets up with him. Now, if he's just like incredibly difficult, she's been up with him for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and he's just not going back to sleep, we'll trade off because usually that just means he needs a change of person. But he's growing, he's sleep regression, he's teething, he was sick this last week, and so there's all that going on. So, but that's her night. And there are some times where I will still feel guilty that, hey, he was up, she had to get up with him and give him more medicine or whatever. And so I'll be like, hey, I'm sorry that you had to get up with him. Why did like why am I apologizing saying I'm sorry? I'd be like, yeah, hey, I should instead I should just be saying, hey, thanks for getting up with him. I know it's never easy. Let me know if you need anything today. But I go immediately to sorry you had to get up with him. Like I should have done that anyway, right? And that's honestly my MO is like, well, I should have
Yep.
done that. I should be doing this. I should make more money. I should be like, I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing it. And so that's why my mind always goes to sorry. So I don't. I think I know I get exactly what you're saying there with that kind of sentiment.
And it's, I mean, you're talking about, I think it's in the expectations that we're putting on ourselves. We put expectations that are sometimes spoken, but a lot of them are unspoken. And
Right.
what you're talking about there, that's an unspoken expectation. It's
Yeah.
in you, not in her, but it's in you. And so you feel like that you have to give answer to that expectation. And man, the thing that's so risky about that, I think, is that if those expectations aren't healthy and aren't balanced and aren't
Yeah.
and acknowledged, then it causes you to like you become unkind to yourself
Exactly.
and then to other people.
Yeah.
And so
So what? Okay. Then what was like a? I know you said it was a kind of it was a good week, but it was stressful in a lot of ways. And one thing we also don't want this podcast to be for everyone who's listening is we're not. I mean, yes, Shannon's a pastor. I used to be a pastor. This is not a preaching podcast. We're not going to preach at you. We're just trying to give you another group of guys that you can do life with in this way and kind of be a part of that. And so that's why we share these kind of like, hey, how was your week? How was, yeah, we'll talk about being stretched thin in that way. So what was a good though? Like what was something that stood out this week that you went, man, that was so really happy that that happened, or something that you're maybe proud of? What's a win?
this is I was thinking about this, and this is so small and trivial in a lot of, I mean, maybe to a lot of people. Again, I'm making assumptions and putting expectations, but so my office is actually cleaner today than it has been in months. And yesterday, I was on a I was on a 2 hour phone call regarding insurance. It was the end of the enrollment period for healthcare marketplace, and so we were trying to switch over to a better plan. And I was on the phone with the gentleman that was helping me, and it was a long process. Like it was
Right.
really
Oh, it
complicated.
takes forever.
2 hours. And so I've got him on speaker, and so so I'm start milling around, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this, my desk is covered over, my books were not, I've just thrown books on my shelf. So I started cleaning and putting things away, and was like, you know what, I'm going to leave. My goal is to leave every day with a clear desk
Ooh, that's good.
and come back in. And I got to tell you, like I came in today and I couldn't, I couldn't wait to get. Are you trying to get looking to see about cleaning your office? Is
Finds
that?
finds a mess. Yeah, I'm looking around as you're talking, like, oh, there's just nothing good in here. Keep going.
But it was like, okay, I have a fresh place to work. It's a clean,
Yep.
like it's a clean canvas. And here's the thing that was really funny. I remembered high school specifically. If my room or my car were messy, inevitably I could look back at that season of my life, and it was a chaotic, crazy,
Yes.
messy time.
Yeah.
And but if when it wasn't and it was orderly, then my life was orderly. And I don't know if one leads to the other, but I know that for in myself, I feel like one helps get the other
Yeah.
in place. And so I think getting this in place was like, I have a space that I can come in, and I don't feel like if there's just a mess that's showering down on me. And
Yeah.
it's been as that's a win for me. As a win is like I've got clean spaces today. So
That's no, that's good because I've literally even thinking before I go on my trip next week, I'm gonna clean my room, my office, so that when I get back, it's clean. Like and because I use my office for a lot of things. Part of it is I have too many clothes, and so I use my closet in here for all of my coats. And so if I wear them, I'm so bad at just like I'm gonna put it right there. I'll hang it up later.
mhm.
And so there's like a pile of coats on the floor, and I'm going, you know what? That's before I go on my trip. This office is going to be clean and organized so that when I get back, It's not gonna, it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be neat. So I love that. Like even that just was a good conviction for me.
Are you would you say that you're a orderly or non-messy person? Do you
I would
prefer
definitely.
order?
I prefer order, and I think this is my wife and I argue about this a lot because I will like. So every 6 months I send her to a hotel to get away, and I will go on a cleaning rampage when she's gone.
Brave
I don't
man.
have to. I don't have to worry about her being like, well, and it's not like she does that, but when you're trying to clean with someone else who also lives in the space, it's hard because they might have thoughts or opinions, and for me, I'm like, I just want to go, and so, I mean, I told you I was sending those polos. I was like, dude, I went and cleaned like all of the downstairs. I threw a bunch of things away, like after the kids went down.
You were making me exhausted. You
I
were
was going nuts
you were tiring
because
me
for
out.
me, it's like, yeah, I get this tension inside of me because I know when I think this is a really cool thing for just how we're wired is we know if it's disorderly, there needs to be order. We know there's supposed to be order, whether it's internally or externally. And so when we see external disorder, we're kind of going like, ah. I know some people say like hoarders and those people can like live in filth and stuff like that. I don't think anyone actually is ever okay with it. You just become you disassociate. You never are actually desensitized. Your brain just turns off, even though you're still physically you're not actually good with it, and your body's trying to tell you like this isn't good.
Right.
So I think no one is ever really okay with disorder. They just try to lie to themselves and say they are, but no, no, never.
And it's really, I think too, when you're able to bring order, like I did this in our garage a few weeks ago. Or even in here, you have this sense of accomplishment,
Right?
especially when you feel like life is being thrown at you. You're like, okay, I did that. I conquered that. So if I can do that, then I can go to the next thing. And
Exactly.
so there is truly a reward in it that I think is really really cool. That we can, and it has. I mean,
Yeah.
as crazy as it was, I do think that it's put my. I mean, and I've chatted this week, and I every time that I'm kind of like, man, at the same time, there's this immediate sort of like, yes, but there's also good.
Yeah.
And it's so yeah, I think it's helpful. What about you, my friend? What about your your low, your tough
Yeah.
for the week? What would you say yours has been?
I think for me, it's like it's been sick. But it's weird. It's because I knew it was going to happen, right? So last weekend, my wife went to the hotel. I had the kids. Ed, he's our 1.5 year old. He was sick, had a fever all weekend. I knew it. I knew I was gonna get sick. But there's just that, like, I don't like being sick because I don't like feeling like I'm dragging. There's if and I think that's my issue is that disruptive aspect is oh no, like there's another thing that I have to think about. I also don't like being a burden. So there's those moments too where like I don't want to add any more effort to my wife that has to do anything. And so there was one night where she was like, "You just need to go to bed early. I'll put all the kids down." And I'm like, "I hate that idea because yeah, my body needs to sleep, but I'm me going to sleep at 8 while you have to put like you've had now to put all the kids down and all that kind of stuff. Like that just feels unfair." And I think that was why it was a low for me. It was just like this, and it also just puts. I think sickness also puts me in a really hard spot too because it makes me want comfort. It makes me want ease. It makes and so it's easy to choose anything that will like help you placate your feelings of. "Meh," and so it's just a hard. I think for guys, getting sick is such a weird thing because we're just like this is and I know all the women make fun of us, like guy colds are the worst. It's but like I think it's more because it's such a mental thing for when a guy gets sick because he's just like I feel like just wasting space now.
Because you can't
Uh,
go outside and play. As a kid, you didn't want to be sick because you couldn't go outside. You want to go
right.
ride your bike, right? You
I want
can't.
to go play.
I want to I want to go have fun. I want to live my life, and I can't because I'm sick. And I mean,
It's
the only
yeah,
benefit was that you didn't have to go to school, but you still
right.
wanted to stay home and play.
I know. So I think for me that was that's more of my low was being sick because I really don't think like for the most part mentally I was pretty good this week too. Um, I got back on Instagram and social media to kind of start posting some stuff, and that's been fine. I haven't felt the temptation to be on there a lot. There was a couple moments where I did feel like I compared myself, but I felt as if it was easier for me to do that, like you said, kind of like you cleaned your office. The yes, but because I have friends and even my brother, he's incredibly wealthy in that way and has so much free time. He's single and he's incredibly successful, and just like the stuff that he can do with his life or buy with his life is insane. I mean, it was something as simple as he posted a story about this coat that he's wearing. I love fashion. I am obsessed with fashion. And so he's like, "This is the coat I wore," and I look on the website. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, all of the coats are at least $5,000." Okay, that's insane. And I'm going like, how do you even, you see just the disparity, the gap, and you're immediately going like, I could never, even in my wildest dreams, be able to do that because I'm paying all of that for kids and rent and everything and all this kind of stuff. And so it's so quick that you go like, oh, I wish, but then you go, I couldn't. There would never be a world because we're in completely different worlds. I have three kids who go to, two who go to school, and I'm the sole breadwinner, right? I have all these people that I'm kind of providing for. But I felt I was proud of myself in the moment where I didn't sit in it. Whereas I felt like in the past I would have sat there and be like, man, what am I doing? I'm
Yeah.
wasting my time. I need to make more money. So I'd say that was my low was the sickness. My win, funnily enough, has been ongoing. It's this stinking van that we have. It's a great van. We had to do recalls, got that fixed, but then also needed something else fixed on it, and then which was covered under warranty. But the problem was I kept having to take it back to get it. Like it just there was one more thing, and so today they were supposed to fix the driver's side sliding door, and they changed the motor, and it was working, and then it stopped working because then they figured out, oh, the child safety lock kept just turning on, and it won't turn off, so you can't open that door. And I'm going like, man, it has been 2 weeks, but my win is the entire time I've had just a great attitude. I never had any type of, oh my gosh, these people, how could like, yeah, and I think for me, I've just never been that person that would ever yell at service people or get upset with them because I'm going like, I get it, right? No one's trying to screw me over. So yes, that does mean now that I had to reschedule another appointment for Monday, which is the day that I'm going to be flying to Munich that evening. So like it's going to be even more of a crunched day. But anyway, but to me, I'm like, you know what? My goal, I said I want to get this done so it's fixed before I leave for the trip, so my wife doesn't have to worry about a door not opening, even though it's not that big of a deal because the car still runs. But I'm saying, but you know what? I'm doing it. I'm not going to just put it off till I get back. I'm committed to getting this done before I leave. And I think that for me, that was the win. Was I kept a good attitude. I didn't do like a oh woe is me, and it was just no. I'm still going to get it done. And I like you said about cleaning your office. Like even that, I scheduled that appointment. It's going to happen. I'm getting it done before I go. That was a cool sense of accomplishment for me. So that was my win.
Bro, that's a win. I mean, I wish I could high five you through the screen because yeah. So like, I think listening to you, that's so stressful to me, and I know that I'm wired to be like, you know, I'm calling somebody. I'm gonna,
Right.
customer service. This shouldn't, but sometimes, and you're handling it. You've handled it, and you've been able to keep the right attitude. And I think most guys probably would not. And
Yeah. No, you're
so
not wrong.
that's a win for sure.
Okay. So how about this? This is I'm going to throw a curveball at you. So today I saw the trend. I don't. You've probably seen it. The like looking back at 2016 trend, the 10 years ago trend. So everyone's just kind of like, what were your vibes or what were the vibes in 2016? And so a lot of people are kind of looking back at pictures. They're posting pictures from 10 years ago, what life was like, what they're doing. Um, when you look back at 2016, what like even just think about it. Could you in your mind think of a good and a bad or like a high and a low from 2016?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So 2016, and I'm cheating right now. I'm going back to
You're fine for your
my
Facebook.
pictures to make sure that I'm getting my
I can
years.
go while you're looking if you want, since
No,
I was the
but
one asking the question.
go ahead. You start. You start, and then I'll give you an answer.
So 2016, Joanna and I had been married for a couple years. We were like both working, had barely any money, Uh, didn't have any kids, lived in an apartment. But what was so crazy is I look back and I don't think I ever at all had any issues with anxiety, depression, suicidal ideation, nothing. Like it was just it's to me my I look back and the good was like it was just such a simple life. It was my wife and I, and we loved being around each other, and we loved going on date nights to movies. And I remember there was like a couple of moments where we got to sing at my our friend's wedding together, and that was a really cool moment for us. And so like the good was that. The bad might have been just I was going through like a lot of work transition because I was still in my master's, and then I'm young and married, so I don't really have like a full time job yet. I'm like working a bunch of part time jobs, and so I was just all over the place. Like work was all over the place, but even at that time, like I never felt as stressed, funnily enough, as stressed as I am now with one job, and like I worked at GNC. I worked at a supplement store, and I still was like having a great time. So, yeah, I don't know. That was the low. It was like work transitions were so weird. I didn't know what I was gonna do, like for what I wanted to do with work, and I was hoping to work in the church, and eventually I did. Which now that's crazy. But yeah, I would say that was my low and that was my high. What about you?
So yeah, 2016. I'm just sitting and scrolling through like, holy cow! Like, first of all, 10 years makes such a difference, man. Oh man, like
What, you look better
age,
now? Mm.
huh?
You look better now?
I don't know. I'm gonna leave that one unanswered. Um, but it was so the year before, the August, no, October, the October before, we had just bought our first house, which is kind of crazy. We'd
Wow,
been married for, at that point, 16 years, or yeah, it's 16 years. And so we bought our first house. And the October before, we moved in, and we were foster parenting, and so we got a phone call 2 days after we moved in, and we became foster parents for a little girl that would ultimately end up becoming our adopted daughter. We adopted her
that's awesome.
2017, so it was a longer process. But um, so yeah, just that whole reshaping of life, and the house that we bought, we ended up having to do some remodeling in it to be able to fit our big family in it. And so there were some really like interesting. I'm seeing pictures of the remodel.
That's so funny.
We hit I think the low for that year. Um, yeah, was we hit a really, really, really hard time financially.
Hmm.
Um, and it rocked our world. And it was, typically as parents, you're able to like let your finances, the struggles that maybe that you have can be kept into the privacy of just you and your wife, right? This was a time that it was obvious, to our whole family. Like it was a time when the whole family just felt the sting of it, and I'm like, man, like you feel there was a real pivotal moment where I thought I'm a failure. I'm a failure
Yeah.
at providing and caring for and helping, and so
Mm.
yeah, it was a low moment. But man, I was just looking back, and oh my gosh, like, yeah, it's so funny. Our business was voted in that same time frame, was voted best of the one of the best coffee shops in the city of Chattanooga, which was
Oh,
really
that's
cool.
awesome.
And I see I'm looking at the pictures from the that awards night, and no one at that banquet knew how bad it was. Like it
Hmm.
was just like, God. And so, wow, yeah. Well, whew, thank God I'm not in 2016 anymore. So
That's I think it's hard. You sometimes you can look back and think how much better times were, and sometimes you can look back and think how much worse times were. I know you journal regularly, right? I think you told me you journal pretty regularly, right?
I I journal or write, or just like, yes, I've got a variety of different ways that I just kind of chronicle life. Yeah.
Okay. Because what's been really cool too is like looking back at journals that I've had that I've journaled for a while. It's and it's no matter what, there's always somewhere where the Lord comes through, where things happen, and it just you didn't think they would, and you can look back, and when you zoom out, I think it's just a really cool thing to do. I actually, now that I'm saying that, I think I'm gonna grab let me grab my 2016 journal, and I want to see if I can find an entry just to read it, just to give you a peer behind the you know the curtains here. While I'm doing that, what's something you're looking forward to for this week, Shannon?
Oh, that's more of the curveball, man. I am being a lot more intentional with my calendar next week and just saying, okay, I'm going to just really take some serious stock of where I'm committing my time and what I'm committing my time to. And I've got some good margin already in the week, and I'm gonna lock it in. I'm gonna lock in that margin, and yeah, I think just pacing and slowing it down is what I'm hoping for.
Hmm, I love that. All right.
Hey, I'm sharing I don't I'm gonna share a picture with. I'll text it to you. Maybe we can pop it up on
That's
on the
so funny.
video. This was Shannon in front of a crowd in 2016
Oh, I got to see this.
when it was cool to do a selfie with everybody in the back behind you.
Oh, I remember those really awkward selfies that you would take.
You're like, oh, everybody, this is so cool.
Hold on, guys.
Everybody's
Just get in the photo real quick. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. I think it's still sending right now. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna read while I'm waiting. Let's see. I'm trying to. Okay, let's do this. This is July 21st, 2016. This is my journal entry. I said big homework day because I was doing my master's. I must first get this bully paper done before the gym and then the final exam. And then often in my journals, I would talk to the Lord. So I'd said, thank you for the schedule that you have given me, Lord. It enables me the least amount of stress. Yesterday was all right, though. Work was good. Finished the shipment. I worked at GNC, and so oftentimes we'd get shipment. I'll probably do some more homework, and I can't believe that we have vacation next week. I'm in go mode, so I haven't even thought about it. And then what I would often do was write like a scripture. So I just wrote a scripture, and then I ended with, continue to sanctify me, God. I have to stop filling my head with crap. So honest. There's that's so funny. There's so many like looking at this, looking at things I'd say, things I'd talk about. There's a lot of sex talk in here because you're a guy, but it's great. It's what it is. You write about that stuff. Oh my gosh, you had short hair?
Yeah. So funny story. I sent the first picture to to the wrong Joel.
I love it. Short hair,
This,
tiny glasses.
yeah. Uh, I think that was my Whoville stage.
Look at you taking a picture in front of a congregation. This is hilarious. Oh my gosh, I think you look better now. I don't know what you're talking about. I think you look much better now.
My wife says I'm like fine wine.
I think you age like fine wine. Okay. One of the things we like to do as well is we like to shout out anyone who has a win. And I had someone text me a win that they had from this week. So every week we like reach out to some people. Also, you can send it to us if you ever need to. You can send it to our email address at thestretchthinpod@gmail.com. And you can find us on Instagram, send us some messages there. But we always would like to just ask for any wins from anyone. So this is a win from a guy named Ilya in South Carolina. And it said, I've been doing exercises that my body needs despite it being boring. And I actually started doing cardio. And I think I totally get that because it can be really tough when you know you need to do some things, specifically like what your body needs. And as a guy, you're like, I just need to lift heavy or do whatever, or just push through things. And sometimes it's really hard to do the right exercises to heal if you have a hurt part of your body. So that's a win. That's awesome, actually. That's really great.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just moving, right? Just making like moving your body is
Well, heck, you tried to gas me up on our last podcast about my deadlift, which I didn't even hit a PR because my back hurt that morning, and I couldn't get past a certain weight, which was hilarious. That you're like, you're gonna do it, it's gonna be great, and then did not. Was not a good day.
still
Oh
you're
my.
still what's your max?
Well, that day it was 395, but I was really hoping to get like 430. But it was cool because I got to encourage some other people who hit some really cool PRs. So that was fun, I will say. Also, how many Joels do you know?
Funny story. Like I'm actually so this is another Joel who's another author, and he's also a podcaster. So I think as we're talking, I'm like I literally just text him like, so sorry I sent that to you. He's like, hey, I was trying to figure out what I was missing. I was like, yeah, I'm literally in the middle of a podcast, so we just started.
Funny.
I'd love to pull him into the conversation. Great author, great. He's written a lot of really cool, easy read, life just enhancing books. So yeah, Joel, and in fact, he is Joel is actually his name.
Good,
He's
because
got a
you can't be Joel.
E with two dots on top, and
Ah,
so
yeah, 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 yeah. He's a fancy Joel. Yeah,
so,
yeah,
but okay, Mister Artieri,
yeah. Well,
Artieri.
Okay, I'm Sicilian. Yeah, Aceri.
okay. Do you, if you're when you're thinking about, like you said this week, you had something you're looking forward to. What's something that you're like, that's just like, what do you think might be a stretched thin moment for this coming week?
Um, Yeah, it's just from the business perspective. There's lots of conversations. And I say we're working on systems and processes. We've got some staff turnover that we knew. It's not catching us by surprise, but pretty key roles in
Yeah,
staff, and wanting to just like do it rightly, like making sure that we're putting the right people in the right places. And so, it's questions like, do we move and hire into that spot in-house from in-house, or we'd bring from outside,
yeah.
which could lead to some awkward and difficult conversations.
Hmm.
And I think it that's just zoom out on that. That's what I probably dread, because I know that there are some conversations on the horizon for the next week, just meetings and stuff that are just like,
Yeah,
mm,
yeah.
I'd rather not, but it got to be done.
Hmm.
How about you?
For me, well, so next week I'm going to Munich for work, Munich, Germany. And I'm excited because it's the first international trip I've taken in a long time. But at the same time, I really love being around my family. I am a homebody in that way. Like, I mean, even this morning, I got to spend some extra time with Edmund, and I just love it. I give me more time with my family, with my kids, and I love it. So I'm not that person that, looks forward to going on a trip to get like a break, because I just feel like I hit a point where I go, I'd rather be at home. So I think for me, stretched thin in the sense of it's gonna be a lot of being, for lack of a better term, on. I don't mind. I am extroverted. I don't mind networking. I don't mind being on. But like I said, as I've gotten older, as the kids have gotten older, I just feel myself wanting to be with them. And there is a little bit of an exhaustion to when you're out in these areas, you have to be on. But I think what's helped is my team. I feel like I can be myself a little bit more with my team, and other teams in the past, other jobs that I've had, especially being a pastor back in the day. Man, you like having to be on at every event, and you're just like, this is exhausting and stupid. Why does this have to be the case? So I'm gonna miss my family, and then just honestly, I want to be able to stay consistent in my disciplines. I want to still try to hit the gym. I need to be better about my time with the Lord, and so I don't want to just have that disrupted because I'm somewhere new. So I think for that, just a lot of like with the change, with the up and down, I'm nervous about that, but we'll see.
Do you, Does the actual like process of travel, especially like international travel, does that land well with you, or does
Oh, I
it
love traveling.
do you yeah?
I
Like
love flying. I always
I
feel like I'm in
enjoy
a movie.
traveling too. I the long trips though that are like it's multi hours of like jet lag and all of that. Uh, I mean I think I came I mean early on I graduated from college and was flying back and forth to I lived in Israel for a while, and so there was lots of moving back and forth, and it was fun initially, but like now the thoughts of like having to go through that whole process of like how long is the flight? Like
It's like 6 or 7 hours.
so that's not
6, 7.
I thought it was dead. I thought it was dead, and people like me keep bringing it back. Yeah, just 6 7 hours is like golly, in the tube for that long. But no, good for
Yep,
you,
yep.
man. You're gonna kill it. You go
Let's
do
like
it.
get the words out. Come on, old man.
Go fly high, young man.
Oh, okay. I will. I mean, technically, I will be flying high, but yes. And I am probably going to spring for. I get premium economy for work, which everyone says is still big, but I'm like, I'm 6'5". I'm a really big person. I could use a bed. So when I get to the airport on Monday, I'm gonna be like, guys, can I upgrade to first class, please? Can I have business, please? I really would like business so I can sleep. Because my goal is Tuesday. I think Tuesday night I have team stuff, but I want to go work out. I want to do a little bit of sightseeing, because Tuesday, and I can't go back to sleep, so I need to just be up. So Tuesday is going to be a fun day.
So you land on it like so when you get there, it's Tuesday morning.
Yes, Tuesday morning. I know. I know. Anyway, all right, everyone. I know we're. Don't worry. This is just a conversation. You're a part of this conversation with us. And so, thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of this. Hey, send us your wins. We'd love to hear your wins. We'd love to hear what's going on. Or hey, maybe lows and highs. If you don't have anyone to share your lows and highs with, we'd love for us to be the two guys you can share them with. We're just big bad dads. That's all we are. That's all we are. So shout out to just to everyone who's a dad, everyone who's a man, just trying, not thriving in the 21st century. And thank you everyone for listening. Like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and thanks again. See you next time.